Now is the time to ask you questions, the questions you have about the information we presented or something we didn't present, but you're curious related to promoting your book. And I would like to start. I would like to be the first one starting. But before I do that, you feel free to type the question in the chat, or you can raise your hand like I do right now, virtual hand, please. And you can unmute yourself and ask the question. So I would like to be the very first one starting with a question, because let's say I am a brand new author. I'm working on something that I'm passionate about. And I heard such a sea of helpful information today, but I don't know where to start. So my question goes to both Lina and Dawn. I would like to ask you both the same question. How do you create a simple, consistent routine to promote your book for somebody who is brand new? Simple, consistent routine to promote your very first book. Dawn, you're on camera. Start first.
I think using the scheduling tool on social media is probably going to be the first and best step for you, whether you're linking to blogging content or whether you're linking or posting cover reveals or whatever. I will encourage you as a very new person to go and schedule your content, whether it's once a week or once every few days, whatever it is. You can schedule it and then forget about it. I do that with Toastmasters. I do 5 weeks at a time. I put once a week, I put a post up there to try and engage people. I think that's your biggest tool for a beginner.
Thank you, Dawn. So scheduling tool. Yeah. Go ahead, Lina.
I echo Dawn's comments in that and suggestions that she has. I would say allocate yourself some time too. If you are disciplined, that's great. I have to actually remind myself to be that disciplined, to actually go in and create that time for yourself to do all of these. Like there are times when, weeks go by and you're not marketing yourself. You need to have a disciplined plan on allocating a couple of hours a week at least, especially for someone who has multiple books on the go. I have only one. And for the first year, I was kind of, very diligent in promoting the book. Now I'm starting that time. I'm actually recreating some time or, reallocating my time to promote the book. So you can create blogs, you can create content ahead of time, and you can time it. Like on LinkedIn, you can put in a post ahead of time. So I can time exactly when that post needs to come out, say on Facebook and LinkedIn. Monday morning at 9 a.m., I want this post to be published. You can do that. And like Dawn mentioned, there is a program to do that as well. So you need some quiet time for yourself dedicated to creating that content. It is as important as writing a book on marketing. I'd say writing the book is only 1/3 of the work. The other 1/3 is in editing, is in creating your wonderful page. A book is judged by its cover. To come to those terms, you say not to judge a book by its cover, but it is judged by its cover, right? So create a good cover. And the third part, 1/3 of the writing part, is marketing. And you need to do that on a continuous basis. So to answer your questions, Anka, create content on a regular basis, be disciplined, give yourself some time and thought to create that content.
Thank you to both of you. I saw Dawn writing in the chat that 15 minutes a day. I just couldn't catch everything from the chat, Dawn. So can you expand on that 15 minutes a day, to dedicate 15 minutes a day to?
So one of my things is I'm super busy. I'm full-time. I work full-time outside the house. I have 2 small children. I am a widow. So finding time to write and do all this great stuff is hard. And setting aside blocks of time is really hard for me. What I like to try to tell people is set aside 15 minutes. 15 minutes to write everything you can about a topic for your book, 15 minutes to create a promo or post a promo on social media. Just 15 minutes. That's coffee. That's a quarter of your lunch hour.
Perfect.
Try it. See if it helps.
So having the discipline to make this time 15 minutes a day, be committed and be consistent with that. I actually want to ask you another question before I invite the audience and take a question from the audience. And the question is, how do you stay motivated? Let's say you created your amazing post, it is on social media, but you only have, let's say, 2 likes from your best friend. So how do you stay motivated to continue creating more and continue pushing yourself and being present at social media?
I can go. It is hard to be motivated. It is hard to stay motivated all the time. There are ups and downs, right? I myself tell people to be motivated all the time, but there are times when you're not motivated. It is sometimes hard to create that motivation in yourself. So that is why it is important to put those little timers, little reminders for yourself on how to actually plan your day, plan your week. You can draw motivation from things around you. You can create that support system around you. And a lot of it has to come from yourself. And there are times, like I said before, there are times when you are down, you are human, like you have those cyclical ups and downs, right? It is good to read motivation. It is good to read motivational quotes to keep you motivated. It is, if you're feeling down, talk to people, talk to supportive people and see, I am struggling with this. I'm struggling with, my next idea, my next content. Do you suggest something for me? Do you suggest a website or anything that I can do better? So talk to similar people. So talk to people in your field, in your area, to keep yourself motivated. Sometimes I actually see a quote that is written by a colleague, or sometimes it's written by, it comes on Facebook, and I feel motivated. I'm like, I have seen this, perhaps I've seen this before, but when you see it once again, you feel that motivation coming back to you. You feel that energy coming back to you. So different methods, use different methods to keep yourself motivated.
Thank you, Lynn. It just sounded like what Dawn said in her presentation, that our phones are listening. So when you feel down, you find the quote you're looking for. Yeah. And Dawn, what motivates you?
I'm going to say there's 2 things. Well, first one is show up, and the second one is to-do lists. I don't know how many of you, I hate going to the gym. I hate it. I just don't. But if you want to if you want to get your book done, you have to show up and do it. If you want to go to the gym so that you can have that 6-pack or lose that 5 pounds, you have to show up. Even if your motivation is down in the dumps, show up and do something. You don't have to show up 100% motivated. You just have to show up. And my second thing, and I'm a big to-do list person. I have KeyPass. No, not KeyPass. I'm sorry. I'm going to tell you the wrong name. Google Keep. Somebody introduced me to this. You can have lists and multiple different lists, whether it's I'm going to pull it up and show it to you how intuitive it is. Ooh, can you see that? You can. See, look at all the to-do lists. I've got a grocery list. I've got notes from the training that I just took. I've got different prompts that I want to look at from GPT, some to-do lists, next best steps for my writing, stuff I need to do on Union Leave, book ideas, business to-dos. It's brilliant. If you don't like doing it on the phone, do it on paper. You can go to the dollar store and get a little pad of paper with the to-do list. And there's that satisfaction crossing it off or check marking.
Yeah.
I am a to-do list fanatic. I love it. But I'll try the 2 you shared, Google Keep, just because I write my list on a piece of paper and it's easy to lose them. So I'll try the 2 you shared. Thank you, Dawn. Now it's time to invite to introduce the first question, the first couple of questions we received from the audience. This one comes from Ryan. He asked 2 questions. I will start with the second one first. So it goes to both of you. Did you do the social media marketing yourself, or did you hire an agency to do that for you? And Lina, maybe you go first. The question was after your presentation. So did you do the social media marketing yourself, or did you hire an agency?
I have not hired an agency. It is always great to hire an agent to promote your book because that person is working on your behalf to do all of the marketing, promoting. They would have ideas, they would do things for you. So it is less burden on you. You can focus on your writing. But the ones that I have done are very pocket friendly, dollar friendly, and budget friendly, I would say. I have used all of the free methods possible because I believe it was Darlene who mentioned in one of the other workshops that a regular author or an author in Canada, 90% of people do not sell over 200 copies of their books, right? Only 10% sell 200 copies or more. I was super excited when I covered that 200 number mark. Trust me, it was a wonderful achievement for me. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm staying, take that seat back, relax. But in order to get that revenue from your books, you need to sell in huge numbers. By selling 200 or 300 books, I don't think you're going to make a lot of money out of it, right? But you have a long extended plan for, say, 3 years, and you are going to sell 1,000 books and up, then I think you should invest in an agent. You would have to give them money you have to spend money to earn money. That is the way it would work. Again, you can utilize all of the free tools and resources available. What I mentioned and what Dawn mentioned are 90% of it are free. You can still get good results from it. All you have to do is spend more time and effort on it. If you have an agent, yes, it could be a different story. I don't know, Dawn, do you have an agent, or do you want to share more information on that? I cannot say how well it works because I did not have an agent, but still the marketing was reasonable. I wish I had done a little bit more of marketing and followed all of the steps from 1 to 5 and the steps that Dawn had created.
Sorry, I've lost my, I did not have an agent. I did my social media myself. I have, however, signed up for multiple different courses, and one of the ones that I'm working through right now is social media, like creating your social media content or PR, not just social media, your content in general for advertising, like using funnels and building your brand and making sure you've got an email subscription and you have that freebie that's getting you the email addresses and things like that. So they do cost money, and they cost a decent amount. It was like $1,500, but I write it all off as my business. And I'm not in it to make money. I'm in it to have fun. I make money on my editing side of things, helping other people. That pays a little better. So that's, I don't have a lot of clients, but I get them from time to time. But yeah, if you have the money, hire someone. They have all kinds of, I've learned it's way deeper than just having a cute tagline. There's ways to help engage people. Videos are huge, which I didn't, as a writer, that's counterintuitive to me to have a video, but apparently videos are the thing. Short, engaging, snappy videos. So yeah, if you can hire someone, go for it. If you want to do it on your own, you can take courses, whatever you like.
Thank you to both of you. So it is based on your budget and preference. And I would say, to add something, I would say that nobody would understand your book so well like you do. Maybe this is your baby, and maybe this is your first book, give it all, give it over yourself and see how far you can go. Thank you so much. And a question we have here is from somebody whose English is not their first language. And the question is related to how would you write a book if you don't have an English degree? But I want to turn a little bit the question and just switch it a little bit, because today we're talking about promoting your book. I would like to ask you, as a not native speaker, maybe Lina, you can relate to that. Like, we both are not native speakers. We have additional challenges when it comes to standing in front of an audience, engaging with people. So what strategies do you have for people who don't speak English as a first language to promote their book?
Toastmasters.
There you go, Dawn. That would have been my first go-to. Again, that question is appropriate in my case because, I speak another language, two languages, and English is not my first language. You don't have to have a PhD in English to write a book. You need to be passionate about your subject. If you want to convey a message, it can be written. Be passionate about the topic that you want to share. If you are passionate about nature, it will come from your heart. If you are passionate about coaching, it will come. It is what you convey from your heart that's going to come and resonate with the audience. Again, you can have corrections. You can choose an editor. You can choose a content editor. You can get as much help as you want. If you're passionate about something, start writing. You don't need to have English as your first language. You don't need to be a native speaker. You don't need to have English as your first language. You don't need a degree in English. You don't need to have a PhD in English. But your knowledge about that subject, your passion about that subject is what matters. Secondly, as Dawn mentioned, Toastmasters. Come to Toastmaster and give it your all. The way you start, it is to put your first step forward, right? That first step is not perfect. You are failing forward. You learn from your mistakes. It is a safe space to talk, be in your safe community, talk, get feedback as much as possible, and improve yourself. And give yourself at least 6 months in Toastmasters to improve those skills. That is what I would suggest. First of all, have passion for your subject matter, have in-depth knowledge about it, and you can get help. Even if English is not your first language, you can certainly get help.
Thank you so much, Lina. And Dawn, I'm sure you have something to add. You were editing a book for a not native speaker. Please take it away.
So there's a couple different things. First off, writing a book, just get your ideas out of your head onto paper. It doesn't need to make sense. Stuff doesn't come out of your head fully formed and perfect. Just get it out. Even if you're a non-native speaker, just write. Your passion, your knowledge, get it out on paper, and you can always hire somebody to help with editing. Now, the instance that I'm going to give you with Ms. Crab Daciana Crab is the lady that I worked with. She lives in Britain. English is not her first or her second language. And she gave me her manuscript, and it was not cohesive. It was not in any shape where you could have gotten from the front to the back with a solid theme or message. There were chunks and excerpts and little stories and lines, and some of it just didn't make sense. So we started from the very beginning. I went through the manuscript the first time. I clarified all the pieces. I got the information of what it was she was trying to convey, and we did this on video chat. I would ask her, like, what exactly were you trying to get across with this story? So then I did. So the developmental edit was to kind of get everything explained. It's still not cohesive, but it's fully fleshed out. And then we did the second copy, which is more, the second edit, which is more going through and making sure it flows. So we did that one next. I went through the manuscript again. I put all the likely things to get the like topics together and did it that way. And then I showed it to her and explained, and we had this back and forth. This is something when I work with an editor, I want to talk to them to make sure that what I'm doing is what they are intending to convey. I don't want to just change it to my words. I want their voice to come through. So then we went through it a third time to go and make sure that everything was grammatically correct. The punctuation was there, the formatting was there, the indenting was there, so on and so on. And then the final review was a proofread of the whole entire project. She was so thankful. She wrote me a testimonial for my website, and she said, I couldn't have done this without Dawn. And then to add to that, she won an award for her book. Now it happened that, sorry, I'm going to get emotional here. It happened that she also lost her husband. And her husband's initials were JC, which were my husband's initials. And we clicked. I consider her like a friend now. And I follow her on Facebook and I comment and stuff. And that was her life's work, her journey. And I'm so happy to have been part of it. And I think that so many people are scared to write, but you don't need to be, because you have an idea. And even if you don't have the words to get it out, people can help you with that. Sometimes it's just a matter of standing in front of a recorder and saying what you want to say and then writing it out afterwards. So I want to encourage everybody. I don't care if English is your first, your third, your 17th language. Just write it. Just get it out there. And if you need to write it in your language and then have it interpreted, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, and you don't need an English degree. I don't have an English degree. I had 70s in English in university. But I know how to talk to people and I know how to get a message across. And Toastmasters has been a big part of that. I'm sorry that I got emotional. It's just sometimes things, you're passionate about stuff. And
yeah.
And my one of the books that I am working on is called Keep Your Laws Off My Book. And it's a play on the whole pro-choice thing, but the fact that people can't dictate what you want to write about, and there's no right way to write a book, and nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. And even if they have negative feedback for you, you can take what you need from it and then move on. And don't let other people discourage you from getting your story out there. And if you need help, and I know I'm going to say it, I do offer editing services. So if you ever need to run an idea by me, or you want somebody to look at your manuscript and give you some feedback, we'll work it out. I do a free consult and things like that. So yeah, get your stuff out on paper, and that's the big thing. And then the rest of it is you can just hire somebody to help or whatever. Whatever. Yeah, that's the main thing.
Thank you, Dawn. And what I get from the story you shared, you and Lena, is that writing a book, it's a journey, it's a life, you can connect with people and you can find so many things in common. It's not just completing something, it's something that goes with you. It's something that becomes part of your life. Thank you so much for sharing that. Next question, I would like to ask you about lessons learned. So we talked about tools, we talked about the overview, different strategies you can develop, but what lessons did you learn? What are one or two big lessons you learned from your promoting? We know about Dawn. Make sure you have the right address on the invitation. Lena, you can start. Lessons you learned from promoting your book.
Lessons I learned. First of all, don't be shy in asking. Like I said, I'm a borderline introvert, so it is hard for me to actually go out and talk to people. I need to take that extra effort to ask, right? So don't be shy in asking. There is an audience for you. There is somebody who needs your help. There is somebody who is waiting to hear your message. Always understand that there is a targeted audience for you. You just need to find them, right? That is how I will approach it if I were to do it again, right? And be confident in your work. Be confident that what you are doing is because you're passionate. Again, writing a book is not a huge money generating business. You are writing a book because you are passionate about it. You want to convey a message you have to a larger audience. It's not just for one person, it's a larger audience. But once you have that completed work you are publishing, it is a big step. You might still feel that it's not perfect. It's like, at some point I was like, when I have written and edited, completed a few corrections and things like that, I was like, I don't think I have any more energy to put into it, but do not feel that way. It is okay. It is okay. Even if you feel it's imperfect, you are making that progress, right? Another thing is that after you publish, you might feel that, oh, I should have done something differently. It is not the be all and end all. You can have a second edition, you can have a third edition, and then you can make those changes for that second edition. In my book, Overcome Your Interview Anxieties, now I feel that I need to change the cover. The cover needs an uplift or an upgrade. So I'm working on that right now and having a second edition very soon. And I'm incorporating some of the feedback that I got, constructive feedback that I got on my first edition of the book. It's my first venture ever, right? I have no background in writing. Otherwise, I haven't done an intensive course. But this is, I had to put my first step forward because it was a dream of mine to write a book. So I took the first step, I progressed slowly, I got to this point, and there are umpteen ways I can improve it. I'm taking the constructive feedback and I'm going to do a second edition to it. So it is another way of me improving my book. I can add a few pointers to it. I can take the feedback that I've received over a period of time. Some people said, I need to see a longer book. The book was, it is about close to around 150 pages, but they needed to see more from me. They needed to see some more examples from me. So I'm trying to incorporate all of that and have a second edition. So one thing I would say is don't be shy, seek endorsements, seek testimonials, talk to as many people, talk about what you'd like to get in your book, what you'd like to convey in your book, take help. I received a lot of help from a good community. I was part of Calgary Association of Professional Speakers as well, and a lot of people are writers too. They gave me a lot of free resources and help. They read the book beforehand, gave me good testimonials, promoted me on social media. So try to get as much help as possible, testimonials. Like I said, seek endorsements on social media as well. So, and again, think of it as it is written in stone. Don't think of it as, it's the be all and end all. You also have a chance of having a second edition and correct any mistakes.
Lovely, thank you, Lena. Dawn, lessons you learned, and maybe you can stay specific to promoting your book.
Lessons I learned. Having an accountability partner or a community behind you is huge. Having goals, huge. Knowing that you don't need to publish your book. Now, I'm going to start a little controversy here. You don't need to publish your book. You can write a book for you. You can write a book for your family. You can write, I wrote a lot about losing my husband in my book, my first book. It can be very therapeutic. I'm not perfect. That was a big revelation. I am not perfect in any capacity. I am one step ahead of everybody else, or one step ahead of one person and another step ahead in a different place. And it's about leading, and it's about getting your ideas out there. And books, not all books make money. I haven't hit the 200 mark, but it was a matter of getting it done. So lots learned on the journey. Lots learned.
So what I heard from both of you, like a big picture summary would be: focus on the journey, don't focus so much, focus on action, focus on passion, focus on consistency. Don't worry about the results, focus on what you love.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I would like to go back to Ryan's question. Let's go a little bit more specific about promoting. Ryan asked in the chat, did you run any targeted promotions on social media?
I didn't for the book. I did for Toastmasters. It's a little different, but I didn't for my book.
Thank you. How about you, Lena?
I had some targeted promotions for the book in the sense that, I had some social media posts that were created, but it was not paid ads at all. It was not paid. It was only organically getting the views and the likes and the shares. Mostly the connections on Facebook and LinkedIn were sharing. So what happened was eventually, one after the other, I also did some vlogs online on LinkedIn as well. That was getting a little bit more traction, and I got more speaking opportunities because of it. And with these speaking opportunities, they were purchasing my book. So I did not spend on ads. I don't think I have spent any particular money advertising my book. So the amount that you get from one book sale is very minimal, especially when you are you're published only on Amazon. I'm only published on Amazon, and you need to have certain copies purchased if you are going to resell. As an author's copy, you can always purchase books for yourself and then resell. For me to run an ad, it'll be a big budget for me to run an ad. So what I've done is the organic posting on LinkedIn, social media, Facebook and such. So on my social media page, that is where I have advertised organically.
Thank you to both of you. And maybe I will just add to this. It's so nice to live in time where you can use social media for free and reach so many people. That's such a great opportunity we have. We can reach so many people pretty much for free just with our effort and own time and work and everything involved. Maybe this will be the last question I will ask you. You both touched on it, but it is in the chat, so I'm gonna ask you to give us a short answer. Is there a risk to lose money if nobody buys your book? Dawn, go ahead.
Of course there is. I paid a lot of money. I'm not going to say how much. A lot of money for my illustrations in my last book on the driving. but it was a work of love. I don't know. I had this idea to write a Dick and Jane book. You remember those books from, I don't know, maybe not everybody's familiar with them. They were a early childhood reader's book from way back when, and it was like, see Spot, run, run, Spot, run. And so I wanted to do that, but with driving and poking fun at drivers. So I hired a guy that used to do my paint nights with me, and he had a digital marketing course, and he did the pages for me, and it was all like, see the red light, see Dick go, stop, Dick, stop, don't be a dick. And so every page is like, that's 25 pages with those types of examples. And I wanted to do it for fun. And there's no way I'm making the money back on it. There isn't, but it was fun. So I'm not the next J.K. Rowling, but I haven't made money on either of my books, but I didn't do it for the money.
Thank you, Dawn. Very nicely said. Lena, you got a chance to answer the question.
Yeah, I want to thank Dawn for re-emphasizing the point. And again, authors like J.K. Rowling, you have to sell millions upon millions of books to actually make a profit. So there, to answer your question, Sonka, yes, there is a slight risk if your books don't sell, right? So that is how you have to balance your decision on how much you spend on the book and how much you're intending to get back. So it is sort of a balanced decision. Or what you have to do is create a budget and decide, I am going to spend $3,000 on marketing, $3,000 on a whole on creating this book and publishing it. This is the money that I'm going to spend, and you can decide whether to get that back or not, or to reach that, when you need to recoup that money back. Or you can decide, you know what, this is the money that I'm going to spend on the book and forget about it. You don't plan to recoup it at all. For me, because it was my maiden venture, I didn't want to spend a lot of money on it. And it was at a time when I was not working during COVID. I spent exclusively all my time and effort writing and pushing that book out. That is what I was doing during that time. And I wanted to do it at minimal costs. So I utilized all of the resources that are available online for free. And it was reasonably okay, reasonably good for a first-time author like me. But now when I'm thinking about the second edition, I might have a budget for myself to say, you know what, I'm ready to spend a little bit more on these certain aspects and go ahead and market it. There is a slight risk of not recouping the money back, but it is a balanced decision that you need to take and say, I'm ready to do that for my book.
Can I add something really quick? You can do it for free. You can write your book for free. You can design your own cover. You can do your own self-editing. You can do it all for free. If you want to step it up, you can hire someone to do your cover for you. You can hire someone to do your images for you. You can hire someone to do your editing for you. You can do it for free, but remember that oftentimes you need to spend a little bit. So I don't want to go and say you're going to spend a fortune on your book. I'm just saying that you can spend a fortune on your book if you want to. So just whatever, like setting a budget is a great example. You know, knowing it, you know, you might need to hire an editor. It might cost you a couple $1,000s. You might want illustrations. They might cost you a couple $100s. You might want to cover, you can get covers done through 99 Designs for like a couple $100s, or you can go to Reedsy and hire someone. Like there's so many different ways to do it, or you can do it on Canva if you really want to. Like your budget, you can do it for free. That's my point.
Awesome. Thank you so much to both of you. I found today's session really practical, helpful, insightful, and very passionate, full of positive energy and so many things you can take away. So thank you to both of you, Dawn and Lena, for sharing your experiences with us. And now it's my pleasure to return the virtual lectern back to Vatna. Thank you.